Hello everyone, I am Sham Alnabhan and today I will be presenting reasoning and problem solving. So first, I will introduce the subject. So referring back to the discussion of procedural knowledge, we know that procedural knowledge is basically knowledge about how to perform tasks. But what happens when we encounter a task for the very first time? This is what is termed in cognitive psychology as a problem. Co defines problem as a goal for which we have no attainment strategy. As Anderson notes, human cognition always takes place with a view to achieving goals and removing obstacles that prevent the achievement of goals. All human activity is either problem solving or originated in problem solving. So reasoning, while problem solving revolves around finding strategies for dealing with new tasks or experiences, it depends on our ability to reason. Reasoning is a cognitive process whereby we reach a conclusion and then determine whether it's valid or invalid by applying certain logical criteria. There are three types of reasoning. The first one is deductive reasoning, the second is inductive reasoning, and the third is abductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning attempts to arrive at logical conclusions on the basis of a set of explicit premises. Coe, 1996, argues that with this type of reasoning, we seek to drive particular conclusions from general truths, which we know or believe to be true. Reasoning is based on the study of formal logic, this by Ellis and Hunt, 1993, and involves reaching conclusions based on general assumptions by Abid. However, firstly, humans don't always reason logically. Secondly, a conclusion may be correct from a purely logical point of view, but it may have no relation whatsoever to the real world or how we view it. For example, if the sun is shining, it is night time. The sun is shining, therefore it's night time. We can see from this example that a logically correct deduction is not necessarily true in terms of the real world. Inductive reasoning is the process of organizing information from specific cases we have seen and then applying this general knowledge to cases we haven't seen. For example, we can generalize from our past experiences that all birds have beaks because every bird we have seen had a beak. However, this method is unreliable in the sense that assumptions made using this method cannot be proved to be true. They can only be proved to be false because we cannot possibly see every bird that ever lived or will live, and so there is a risk that the next bird we see may not have a beak. Each bird we see that does have a beak serves as a positive instance which reinforces our generalization. Now, the abductive reasoning. The abductive reasoning refers to the way we derive explanations from facts. This by Hill and Dix. Abduction involves us trying to find the causes of our explanations about the world. For example, let us suppose that Bob always walks to work when his car is broken. If we were to see Bob walking to work one morning, we might infer that his car is broken. This method is unreliable because Bob may simply have decided to walk to work because he wants to get more exercise. Now, despite the fact that abductive reasoning is very unreliable, people frequently infer explanations using this method. Indeed, beliefs acquired using this method will persist until events occur to show that an alternative is true. Now, theoretical approaches to problem solving. There are three theoretical approaches to problem solving. The stimulus response approach and the Gestalt theory and the information processing approach. The first one is a stimulus response approach. This approach assumes that learners approach problems with a number of existing habits of varying strengths arranged into habit family hierarchies based on the principle of habit formation. This approach maintains that certain habits are used to tackle problems at the expense of other habits. The chosen habits are strengthened while the others are weakened. This approach is internalized and does not provide enough evidence to prove reliable. Now, the Gestalt theory rests on the fundamental assumption that the way people solve problems depends on how they perceive and structure their problem environment. Gestalt maintained the human's ability to recognize and recombine their perception of the problem allows problems to be solved. Gestalt theorists such as Vermeer, 1959, maintain that problem solving is both a productive and reproductive process. Stages in Gestalt approach to problem solving. We have four stages. The first one is preparation, which is a person gathers information and makes initial attempts to solve the problem. Then incubation, the problem is left for a while and other tasks are carried out. Then illumination, the solution occurs to the person suddenly after incubation. The final one is verification. The solution is checked to see that it actually works. Now, Gavin makes the point, however, that because Gestalt theorists are based on introspection, there is insufficient proof that all of these stages occur in all cases. Consequently, such theories lack the comprehensiveness necessary for a good theory. And the last one is information processing approach. The information processing approach attempts to model problem solving from a computer perspective. The aim is to formulate steps and rules which are involved in solving problems in order to produce an abstract model of the process. The information processing approach places problems in what is known as a problem space. Now, the problem space is a set of states of knowledge, operators for changing one state into another, constraints and applying operators and control knowledge for deciding which operator to apply next. This is by Card, 1983. We can further explain the problem space concept by saying that it consists of various states of problems. A state in this regard is a particular representation of the problem. In solving problems, a person starts out from what is called the initial state, where the problem is unsolved, and navigates through the problem space until the goal state, where the problem is solved, is reached. Stages in problem solving. In the information processing problem, a problem is placed in a problem space. We know that the problem space consists of the various states of the problem, namely the initial and goal states, and as well as the states in between. But how to reach to the goal state? The first step is to identify and understand the problem, then devising and selecting a strategy, after that carrying out the strategy, and finally checking whether the strategy actually worked. Now, much of the difficulty encountered in problem solving stems from a failure to fully comprehend the problem and to recognize its features. If we do not fully understand a problem, we cannot hope to solve it. Consequently, the way we perceive or frame the problem ultimately plays a decisive role in our success. There are four principal types of knowledge which affect the way we interpret a problem. The first one is the factual knowledge. It consists of rules, categories, and representations of the problem. Then the semantic knowledge, conceptual understanding of the problem. Then the schematic knowledge provides an infrastructural understanding of the problem, the various related issues and factors, and how they relate to each other. The final one is the strategic knowledge, an understanding of how to build strategies for solving problems within the overall problem area. Now, the difficulties involved in problem solving. The first one is problem solving set, refers to the fact that we have a tendency to view problems through our own experience, which prevent us from looking at problems in terms of inventive ways. The second one is confirmation bias, refers to the tendency to search for solutions that confirm our view of existing ideas. The third one is functional fixedness, refers to our inability to see the flexibility of objects' functions. And the last one is negative transfer, which refers to the phenomenon whereby existing habits and experiences inhibit or prevent us from solving problems. And thank you for listening.